Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto was betrayed by Sakura and Hinata, and got harem in the Sekirei world part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And check out my description. And now let's start the fanfic. What? Naruto couldn't believe it. The love of his life confessed that she loved him. It's too good to be true. He's thinking with his heart not his head. Yes, Naruto, I realized that I love you. The intensity in her voice, her passion, further helped Naruto clear the doubt in his head. Naruto's head cracked, and his mind exploded. Shock was written all over his face. His hands were cold, his throat was dry. His mind was trying to process what she just said, but he kept repeating it in his mind over and over. She loves me. Naruto's eyes widened, and sky blue eyes shimmered. Tears threatening to come out. He grasped Sakura by the hands, and pulled her in closer to his body. Sakura. Do why you really love me? Naruto swallowed the lump in his throat as he said, love. Sakura signed, and smiled softly. Why yes Naruto. I love you. She replied. She reached to touch his face, but he grasped her hand again. He put her hands to his face, and cried. Sakura watched as her teammate, friend, and lover, cry his heart out to her. His second goal in life, fulfilled. It broke her heart knowing that she didn't really love him. More like a brother yes, but lover, no. Her heart was torn in two. Sakura. I don't know what to say. Sakura touched his face, and dried the tears that were still on his face. He grabbed his cheeks, and drew him closer to her. How about this? She kissed him right in the mouth. Warm, sweet, soft. Those were the beginning feelings that they felt. Naruto's mind exploded into a shower of confusion. But that was all washed away when he felt her lips. He closed his eyes to enjoy the moment, and pulled her closer. She allowed it, and pulled his head closer. Their kiss felt like it lasted for hours, but in the outside it was only a 30 seconds. They pulled away from each other. Saliva followed their lips as they separated. Naruto looked at her with undying love, but Sakura looked hesitant, before her look changed into doubt. Naruto thought with his heart, not his head. The crowd of Lee, Kiba, Sai, Kakashi, Yamato watched in shock as they actually kissed. Lee most of all was devastated. Sakura. He didn't want to cry, but he did. So he did the next best thing to hide it. Oh, what youth. Lee put his right arm over his eyes, and cried. Of love lost. Kiba smelled the lie, as well as Kakashi. It was obvious to them that Sakura deceived Naruto. She played with his love for her, and used it for her advantage. Kiba gritted his teeth, anger washing over him like spilled beans on your plate. I'm going to have a talk with her. Kakashi just shook his head in disappointment. Sakura. You fool. Kakashi thought with a grimaced face. If you act like that no one will like you. Kakashi looked at Yamato, and nodded. And I thought you matured. Yamato suddenly spoke up after a long, awkward silence. Naruto. He called out, let's go. Naruto looked at Yamato, then back at Sakura. He reluctantly released her, and approached his squad leader. He nodded at Yamato, but before he jumped away, he gave one last glance at Sakura before leaving. Right when Naruto was out of range, Kiba approached Sakura, well more like stomped over to her. He gave her a nasty glare, and said, how can you play like him Sakura? You're his teammate. How can? Before he finished his sentence Sakura slapped him, hard. She glared at him with fury in her lime green eyes. Don't you ever tell me what I can, or can't do Kiba. What I do is my own business. Not yours. She was prepared to strike him again when Kakashi's voice stopped her. Sakura stop. It was more of a demand than an actual order. Sakura turned to glare at her sensei, but instead she felt like shrinking under his glare. Stop your foolishness. You're a shinobi, so act like one. If you are doing this to fill your own void of loneliness, then don't bother to drag Naruto into this. Sakura took a step back as she clenched her fist. Lee was the one that voiced his thoughts next. Stop. All of you. Kakashi and Kiba were the only ones surprised at how quiet he said it. He sounded hurt, but other than that he masked his other emotions perfectly. Don't fight now that we are so close to war. Kakashi and Kiba begrudgingly nodded at that. Kiba grunted as a response before walking up to his partner, Akamaru. Let's go, buddy. The dog gave a single bark as a response, and followed his master partner. They both jumped away. Back to the Leaf Village. Kakashi watched as the two dogs jumped away. He turned to look back at Sakura, and said, "Let's go, Sakura." Sakura turned to look back at her sensei. "But Sasuke-kun." She stuttered. Now it all made sense. No. She came here for Sasuke, not Naruto. He sighed to himself. How could I have let it go so far, without even knowing it? Sakura, he said with authority, but with a little softness in his voice. Sasuke is a lost cause. Don't let your false love for him bring you down. He was met with a blank stare. Sensei. Her voice was so quiet that Kakashi was barely able to hear. It's not false love. I do love him. So that's why I must save him from himself. Kakashi instantly knew what she was going with. He shook his head slowly. No, Sakura. What you're doing is selfish. To both yourself, as well as Naruto. How do you think he feels? It's not about you as much as you think. Kakashi turned his back on her. He tilted his head to look at her from his side, and said, "And even if you do meet him, what makes you think you will be able to beat him? Now, come on, let's go back." As much as she hated it, Sakura nodded. She clenched her fist so hard that a few bones cracked under pressure. She forced herself a smile. "Okay, sensei." She gave him a sweet smile, but Kakashi knew otherwise. Kakashi nodded, slowly, and jumped away with Sakura right behind him. Lee watched the exchange with a mixture of emotions deep within. He slowly nodded to himself. Newfound determination welling up inside of him, and he jumped towards the trees to catch up with them. 3 months later, Valley of the End. Sasuke. You don't know how long I waited for this day to come. The smirk in the raven-haired teen further fueled the annoyance in the blonde's voice. Dobi. You know as well as I do that you won't be able to beat me. Sasuke's smirk grew bigger, if not possible. Naruto merely laughed, which irritated the raven-haired shinobi. What's so funny? You think this is a game? Sasuke's eyes flashed from red to onyx black with every second. Naruto's laughter continued. Naruto wiped the tear from his eyes, and looked right at the raven-haired shinobi. Not afraid to look into his Sharingan eyes. They say that arrogance is poetic. I just realized how right that is. Your arrogance, Sasuke, is outstanding. Naruto smirked as Sasuke's eyes flashed with anger at his remark. As angry as he got, Sasuke stopped. It's okay, Sasuke. Deep breaths. Sasuke smirked returned, and the annoyance on Naruto's returned. All talk, Naruto. But after this, no more. With that, the raven-haired shinobi rushed at the blonde with impressive speed. He disappeared from sight, and reappeared right behind the blonde. The smirk in his face still plastered on his face. Naruto was the one who smirked last as he, too, disappeared. Sasuke looked around the area in shook. He was actually surprised at how fast he had gotten in so little time. He actually smiled, not his usual smirk, but a smile. Sasuke was smiling. Finally a challenge. He caught Naruto's movement from the corner of his eyes, and punched his arm forward, knocking the wind right out of him. And with him of all people. My brother. Sasuke ducked under a kick that Naruto threw, and gave out his own kick. Naruto tried to dodge while in midair, but he couldn't. Sasuke's foot connected to Naruto's stomach. The blonde-haired shinobi's eyes rolled into the back of his head, and gasped. A few cracks were heard as he went flying to Uchiha Madara's statue. Sasuke looked at the crater, where Naruto's body went, with a smirk. He shushined out the Senju statue, and reappeared in front of the blonde. As he was about to punch him, the blonde-haired shinobi's body burst into smoke. Shadow clones. Sasuke turned his head just in time to see the blonde with a Rasengan in his hand. You can play it that way. Sasuke formed the three hand signs needed for his move, and he grabbed his wrist. His hand shook as electricity started to gather. A ball of lightning appeared, and just as it did, Sasuke put the ball of lightning in front of him. Ra! Senator! Gone! The blonde-haired shinobi yelled out. Chidori. As the blonde won, the raven-haired shinobi shouted out his attack with equal ferociousness. As both attacks almost connected, Sasuke reached out to grab his sword. He was about to slice at him when the Naruto in front of him turned into smoke. Another shadow clone. Grr. As Sasuke's attack continued forward, he looked up, and a single Rasengan was seen coming down on him. His eyes widened as the attack connected to his face. Rasengan. The blonde-haired shinobi shouted in triumph. The force of the attack sent Sasuke flying into the cold water below. The Uchiha pushed chakra into his body as he landed in the river. He got up, and glared at the smug blonde one. All wet, Naruto taunted. You. He responded. Naruto laughed to himself. You know. Naruto began, now that I think about it, your hairstyle resembles a duck's. The way the blonde shinobi said it, further pissed the raven one off. But Naruto wasn't done yet. If you put your whole body into the river, only allowing your hair to stick out, I bet you will probably lose fangirls that way. Just make sure you place a mouth in front of your hair, and it'll really look like a duck. Sasuke's face color changed from white to red in a matter of seconds. Anger, frustration, embarrassment. The list goes on, and on. Sasuke forced himself to calm down, before smirking, again. At least I had fangirls. Naruto's eyes widened at his implication, all you had was ramen. Naruto's eyes turned red, and his nails lengthened. You bastard. Naruto jumped down into the ravine below, with the intention to kill him. Make fun of me. Okay. But, make fun of ramen. You're dead. Sasuke's short verbal victory was cut short as Naruto punched him in the face. He followed up with a back kick, followed by reverse kick. Sasuke went crashing down into the bottom of the cold water below. The anger inside the raven-haired shinobi reached its all-time high. He channeled a huge amount of chakra into his eyes, and it morphed into his Mangekyo Sharingan. On his left eye he had his brother's pinwheel eye, while in the other he had the Jewish star. His aura turned colder than before, as he blasted a concentrated amount of flames, black flames to be exact, onto the surface. Naruto stood onto of the water, anger flowing through him like a calm river. His ears twitched a bit, and he felt something hot in his feet. He heard a sizzling noise, and add that with the heat he felt. Something's burning. He looked down into the bottom of the river just in time to see a huge concentrated blast of black flames racing towards him. Amaterasu. Naruto channeled his red chakra into his legs, and with a burst of speed he disappeared, and reappeared on top of the statue, just as the black flame came flying out the river towards the sky. The black flames stopped, and exploded. The black flames turned into tiny black flames, and they hit the ground all around the area. Naruto looked down on the ravine just in time to see his rival stand back up. You brought this upon yourself, Naruto. If you only let me go, I wouldn't have hated you as much. Sasuke flew through hand signs before exclaiming. Fire style. Mythical fire phoenix technique. Naruto just stood there as the attacks came onto him. He held his arm out, and channeled his blue chakra into his hands. Rasengan. He exclaimed. The fire attack hit the Rasengan, making the flames go around Naruto, in a counterclockwise form. Naruto smirked at his accomplishment, but that was short-lived as Sasuke came from behind with his sword drawn. Pointed right at him. Chidori current. Sasuke exclaimed. Electricity traveled through his sword, and continued to travel even after the sword ended. The electrical sword pierced Naruto's heart, but he burst into smoke, again. Shadow clones again. Damn him. A fist to the face brought him out of thoughts, and down onto the floor. He tried to stand up, but a huge gust of air blew him away, falling right back into the river. Shadow clone technique. Sasuke heard from midair. Naruto looked at his clones with seriousness. You know what to do. The clones nodded, and jumped away, leaving only Naruto and Sasuke there. Naruto closed his eyes, and took a deep breath. But to Sasuke, it was an open attack. It's like he wants me to finish him. He smirked at that, but then his face turned cold. I need more power. To be using Mangekyo so early. Sasuke's hand was suddenly encased in lightning as he shouted. Chidori Senbon. Tiny electrical needles raced towards the blonde, but he was prepared. A single clone burst with a loud poof, and got in between the attack and his boss. He took all the attacks without poofing back into nothing. But Sasuke didn't stop there. Sasuke disappeared with a shushin, and reappeared behind the motionless blonde. He was prepared to strike him down when Naruto grabbed the blade with his bare hands. He opened his eyes, that resembled that of a toad, and gazed at the struggling shinobi. He snapped his blade in two, and threw his blade aside. Sasuke looked at him with wide eyes. That blade was made out of the strongest material in the elemental nations. How can he his eyes? An eye bloodline. Sasuke didn't have the time to ponder much as Naruto punched him in the chest. It felt like I was punched by a building. Naruto grabbed the bowing raven by his hair, and threw him into the river, hard. Sasuke went spiraling down onto the cold, now hard, water below. A huge blast of water, followed by rain, washed the place away. Sasuke coughed a few times as he heard a shout. Rasen Shuriken. Sasuke looked up to see the spinning ball of condensed wind hurling at him. Acting on impulse, Sasuke fired a low-level fire technique on the ball, but the ball absorbed it. But it transformed into a flaming spinning ball with condensed wind around. Sasuke cut of his chakra from his feet, and he went down into the water just when the ball impacted into the spot he was at. The ball exploded in a flash of light and flames. The wind ripped and shredded everything around the area where the ball impacted. The water splashed and splashed until a huge hole in between was ripped through. If you have seen Dragon Ball Z where Goku does Spirit Bomb on Frieza. The aftermath in the ocean where there is a gaping hole in the ocean. It's like that, but smaller. The force of the water was too much for the raven-haired shinobi, so he tried to swim back up. But the current pushed him further down until his head slammed into a wall, hard. He lost his breath in a process, and his lungs filled with water as he tried to breathe. To die like this. He was prepared to shut his eyes, but as he did, his world was blinded by a light. Pathetic. Naruto grabbed the unconscious Uchiha by his hair, and pulled him up. He placed the unconscious teen on his right shoulder, and left. 46 minutes later. At the Leaf Village entrance gate. Naruto, with the unconscious teen still on his shoulder, walked into the entrance with his head, walked right up to the gatekeepers, and said, "Mission accomplished. Akatsuki is no more." A cheer ran out from the few civilians who heard this. The cheer attracted the rest of the village, and so they checked it out. More and more of the villagers came to see what was the commotion. When there they joined in their fellow villagers' cheer, repeating, "Hero! Hero!" over and over again. Naruto, with the teen still over his shoulder, grinned like a fox, and rubbed his neck nervously. "It was nothing," he said. "I couldn't have done it without my fellow shinobi after all." The crowd cheered louder at his modesty. But a familiar flop of pink hair attracted his attention. Sakura, he thought. She burst through the crowd with worry in her eyes. "Where is he?" The crowd stopped as her voice stopped theirs. "I said, where is he?" She was beginning to sound desperate, they realized. She looked around the crowd until she spotted a familiar blonde-haired shinobi with a raven-haired shinobi on his shoulder. She ran up to them both with tears in her eyes. Naruto, expecting a hug, gently laid the down Uchiha onto the floor, and opened his arms a bit. But he was extremely disappointed when she ran right past him, and onto the floor where the Uchiha was at. She hugged his down form, further breaking his heart in the process, and kissed the Uchiha right in the cheeks, not caring about the crowd around them. Naruto looked at her with indifference, but on the inside he was crying. "We've been together for a few months. I thought we had something special." Naruto shook his head to get rid of those thoughts. "No, she will not betray me." He gave one last look at the sobbing pink-haired girl Biofre turning away. Naruto turned around with his head high, and walked right through the crowd. Even though the people around him patted him on the shoulders, and saying, what a good job he had done. He felt alone, he felt betrayed. Deep inside him he knew she was lying to him when she told him that she loved him. And now he has to pay for it. Ignorance is a bliss. Naruto walked back into his apartment with his head down, his shoulders down. He had a pair of sake on each of his hands, and an angry expression on his face. She fucking betrayed me. Tears fell from his angry face, and he quickly slapped his palms onto his face. He slumped down onto the floor, and cried, remembering the betrayal she inflicted on him today. Flashback. Naruto turned the corner to walk to the apartment where Sakura moved in a couple of days ago, with flowers in his hands. He was prepared to take her out for dinner again. To treat her like a princess, a queen, a jewel. As he turned, however, he heard a giggle. He laughed to himself. He remembers who giggles like that. Sakura-chan. He thought with a smile. But his smile dropped as he peeked through the open door. Sasuke giggled, UARH. Sasuke continued to attack her stomach, occasionally licking her belly button, as well as tickling her neck with his breath. Naruto's saliva got stuck on his throat as he continued to watch the scene unfold. No, he thought with dread. Give it to me, Sasuke. She practically begged for him. Sasuke gave a single glance to the open door where he caught Naruto's eyes watching their forms. He smirked, and mouthed a few words that Naruto caught. Of course, Sakura-chan, I'll give it to you all night long. It was too much for the blonde, that he forced himself to look away. He clenched the flowers so hard, that it burst into flame. He ran from the scene, with the feeling of betrayal on his back. Flashback end. Naruto looked up from his slouched position, and clenched his fist. Remembering the words Sasuke mouthed to him. You beat me, I'll destroy you. Betrayal Part 2. Naruto walked through the streets of Konoha with a cheerful expression on his face. He whistled a few times until his jaw started hurting. He passed several villagers that waved at him happily, and some of his local admirers that wanted an autograph. He signed a few before continuing on his way. As he walked, he bumped into someone when he wasn't looking. Oh, sorry about that. He got up before dusting himself up first. He looked down to see who he bumped into. Hinata. Hinata, is that you? I haven't seen you since. Pains, in. Va. Scion. He gulped, remembering her confession she told him. How are you? He scratched his neck nervously. Hinata looked up, and her eyes hardened a bit. But she replaced her look with a gentle one. It's him, she thought. Her thoughts a little dark than usual. She masked her anger, and calmed down a little. Hi-en Naruto-kun. God, I hate acting like this, but I need to do it. Hinata pressed her fingers together, and looked down. Her hair covering her face. Hi Hinata. Naruto stuttered as well. He looked at her, and his eyes softened. Flashback. Because I've always watched you. Admired you from a distance. The wind blew in her face, while Naruto looked at her with wide eyes. What is she trying to say? I love you. She rushed forward with speed he did not expect her to possess, and was blown back with twice the force. He heard her scream of pain, and his heart broke. Hinata. Flashback end. I should give her a chance. Hinata slightly looked up to see Naruto's struggling body. Yes. She stuttered. She mentally gave herself a pat on the back for her performance. How would you like to get some ramen? It wasn't easy as it seemed, but he did it. I asked her out. Did he just ask me out? Hinata blinked a little, and lost her composure outside. She gained an angry look, and replied. What did you say? She realized what she said, and how she said it, and because of that she covered her mouth, and looked down onto the ground again. Idiot. How can you? I said if you want to go get some ramen. Now it was a little easier to say than last time. Naruto though, was a little shaken by her outburst. Was she this loud? Hinata blushed, and nodded furiously. Uoyyesn Naruto K-kun. It was soft, and almost whisper-like, but Naruto heard her perfectly. He nodded, and grabbed her by the hand. She blushed. For real this time. Oh, God, he's holding my hand. She shook her head. No, have to get rid of these feelings. I must have my revenge for what he did to me. Let's go then. He gave her a soft gentle smile, that made her blush again, and led her to the ramen shop, 2 streets down. I am really bored, to almost no inspiration for this part. So quick summary. He takes her to ramen shop, they talk. She giggles. More dark thoughts out of Hinata. Naruto had a good time, and Hinata pretended to have a good time. Now they are going home. Naruto is walking her home. Naruto grabbed Hinata's soft white hands, and took her out her seat. He was trying to be romantic, she realized. But he's trying too hard. Fool. Like darkness, her thoughts were. She complied, and allowed him to take her out of her seat. She stood up, and looked at him with a blush. I had a good time, Hinata. He smiled softly at her. She repeated his action, but not as soft as his. He realized this, and frowned. Are you not having a good time, Hinata? He sounded a little defeated, and that made her smile. On the inside, she blushed at his attention, and shook her head furiously. No Naruto K-kun. IH had a great tea time. She said a little too quickly. Naruto nodded at her response, and led the way to her house. What neither of them noticed, was that Ino was looking at them with a downcast expression, and slightly betrayed. Too late, maybe. While walking, Naruto decided to talk, breaking up the uncomfortable silence that hanged in the air. Hinata. She looked at his face. She looked right at his deep sky blue eyes, and promptly lost herself. Gazing right in his eyes. Are you mad at me for not talking to you after Pain's attack? She snapped out of her trance, and looked away. Why ask that now? She was starting to get angry, and she didn't want to get angry, or else risk losing her plan. She continued to look down at the ground, neither responding, nor looking back at Naruto's concerned slightly hurt Naruto's form. They arrived at the Hyuga compound a few minutes later, with an awkward silence. Naruto looked ahead, while Hinata looked down. Both completely out of it, and both lost in their own thoughts. Naruto stopped right in front of the gate. Hinata snapped out of her thoughts, and was prepared to go in when Naruto continued to hold onto her hand. She stopped, and turned to look at him. Hinata. Hinata tilted a little at his tone of voice. Naruto's words were caught in his throat, as he watched Hinata's tilted head under the moonlight. So beautiful. He blinked as he just realized this now. Why did I just realize this now? Do you want to get some ramen tomorrow? Hinata was shocked. She didn't expect him to ask him out again. And for some reason she got all giggly inside. She felt excited. Sure Naruto-kun. She stuttered for real this time. She realized this, and looked at herself in shock. Naruto cracked a smile, and hugged her. Unexpected, she blushed at his touch. And she just responded with a pat on the back. An awkward one. But Naruto was too happy to even notice this, and released her. He pumped his arm up in the air, earning a small giggle from Hinata. And ran off, not without saying, goodbye. Hinata waved at his retreating form, and smiled. She thought about the events that occurred today, and blushed. And passed out. 4 months later, Nakatashi District. Naruto walked through the village with a smile on his face. Even though Sakura betrayed him, He was happy to find someone as awesome as Hinata. He walked through the busy streets with his hands inside of his pockets, and his head high in the air. He felt as though nothing can stop. Nothing could stop him. He turned the corner, and his jaw dropped. His eyes bulged, and his heart broke, once more. Hinata was in the arms of another man. Her lips were meeting the man's lips. She looked happy. Happier than when she was with Hinata. Naruto shook his head, and approached the pair, with anger. Hinata. Hinata snapped her head, to see an angry Naruto walking up to her, and the guy. Naruto. She stuttered. Shit. The man realized the situation he was in, and ran. But Naruto didn't care if he ran. He just kept walking up to Hinata, with an angry face. Why? His face changed from angry to betrayed, in an instant. Hinata looked at him, and said, I don't know, something inside of me. Why? Naruto pretended that she didn't talk, and repeated the question a little louder this time. Hinata just squirmed under his gaze, and mumbled a few words, that he didn't understand, or chose not to. Why? You said you love me. Why? Something inside of her snapped. When Hinata heard him say, you said you love me, she snapped. Something inside her snapped. She snapped her head so fast to look at his form with fury in her lavender pupil-less eyes. Why? Why? She shouted louder than the blonde. The blonde stopped his shout, and listened to her. Because, when I told you that I love you, what did you do? You went with that pink-haired actually thought that you'll respond, but you didn't. You didn't even talk to me. You. His reply was weak. No. Then after she cheats on you with that fucking Uchiha, you come crawling to me. Look, I'm a fucking rebound or something. That's a lie. He shouted back. No. It's true. But you're too stupid to know it. You only stayed with me to fill your own void. You bastard. Why should I stay with a man who doesn't love me? Hinata's eyes blazed with anger as she continued to spill her heart out. For a while I was happy, I even stopped my plan to kill you. Her voice softened a little, but turned back into anger. But, I realized I was wrong. I should have fucking killed you. I never love you, and I will never, ever love you. That's why I cheated on you 5 times already. She realized what she said in the end, and covered her mouth. Naruto gasped, and his expression changed. He gave her a blank expression before responding. I see. You only wanted to hurt me. He walked away right there. Hinata tried to say something, but she couldn't. Something was wrong. He turned his back to her, and said, for what it's worth, I'm sorry for the pain I caused you without even knowing. He left the district, not bothered about the crowd around them that watched the exchange. Hinata's eyes shimmered, and she fell to her knees. Naruto heard her cry of pain, but his pain was even harder. The pain of betrayal. After 2 times betrayal, Naruto has made walk to the Hokage office. He has entered the office and see Suand and his paperwork. Damn it, this paperwork. It will kill me someday, Tsunade murmured. She turned. Look, the blonde was standing over the door. Gaki, I'm not in the good mood, so please come another time, Suand said. But Naruto didn't respond. He still walked forward and stand in front of her desk. Hokage-sama, Naruto said. Tsunade, surprised at blonde, called him with some respect. She stopped her paperwork, turned to Naruto. She recognized something, 2 things: his emotionless face, and second, something bother him. That why he didn't call him. Hokage-sama, I want some time alone and leave this village period of time, Naruto said. Tsunade eyes widened, then she stared at him. Naruto, don't play at me, I will. But Naruto cut off her. Ba-chan, I begged you, give me some time alone, Naruto finally cried. Tsunade shocked at his reaction. She get up and hugged him and tried to comfort him. Shoo, Naruto-kun, calm down, calm down. Tell me what happened to you and what suddenly happened to you, Suand asked. But Naruto continuous cried her chest. I can tell you, Suand-sama. Suand turned to see that Iruka standing over the door. But it would be between three of us, Suand confused but nodded. Suand let Naruto sit on the chair and activate the privacy seal that no one can hear them. Okay. What happened to Naruto-kun? Tsunade asked. Iruka looked at Naruto then Suand. Suand-sama, Naruto was continue betray one by one. Suand blinked. What do you mean betray one by one? Iruka explained to Suand whole situation what happened with Naruto. That whole story has explained to her. Suand heard it and she got a shock after hear the story. She turned to Naruto and look emotional less face. If I were his place I would definitely ran away just like what I did in my past. She look at Iruka again, but I can't live alone. He would never find his love. She blinked. Wait love I know the place where he definite find her women that he love. Suand look at Anko then Naruto. Naruto, it is true what Iruka saying me. Naruto nodded his emotionless face. Suand eyes widened first she never seen any reaction her blonde. That means she was telling was true. Suand ragged came up her mind she would kill the girls what they done to his grandchild. She turned to blonde sees his sad face but he came up idea. She sat besides him she took his hand and said, Naruto as per Hokage I never gave any shinobi for left his shinobi duties but there is mission that I know that only you can do and I will not send you any subordinate. Naruto turned to small smile over lips. Okay what kind of mission Ba-chan? Suand smile. I sent you to Tokyo in the capital city. First if you reach there and report me then I should tell about your mission. Naruto nodded he stand up and left the room without any word. What kind of mission do you gave him and without any subordinate? Iruka asked. In this mission Naruto definitely find what he was searching, Suand said while Iruka confused what she meant. Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, Toad Sage and Jinchuriki of the Kyubi no Yoko, was sitting in a bus, quietly waiting for the ride to reach its destination. There was no one else on board except for him and the bus driver, who was smoking a cigar. Staring out and looking at the window, he couldn't help but admire the beauty of the countryside and the clear blue sky and started to feel at ease because of the warm sunlight. Today is a good day, he thought. Are you that new person the Hokage told me about? The bus driver suddenly asked, snapping him out of his thoughts. Yes, am I, Naruto said. Thank you Ba-chan you're great I think I could recovered my after what Sakura and Hinata done to me. If Ba-chan is not old enough I would really love with her. Naruto blinked blushed appeared over his face. Damn it Naruto what you're thinking. She is like my godmother. I can't think like that. Naruto was dropped off in front of a bus stop of capital city with a pumpkin head. He was wearing a black strapped Hittite, with the symbol of Konoha engraved on the metal, and his sage clothes. The scroll on his back was carrying a suitcase and bag. Dropping his bag and suitcase, he started to remember the mission the Ba-chan Gondime gave this scroll it has ninja equipment and other street. Naruto stand the bus stop of city of capital. Naruto's other things like food supply, new elemental scroll, his cloth and vice versa are cover in his backpack. He was wearing a pair of dark blue jeans and black boots, a form-fitting white sleeveless t-shirt, a black sleeveless houri with a hood, a pair of black fingerless gloves and an armband with the symbol of a leaf on a metal plate wrapped around his left bicep. He received many odd looks, both because even though he was technically from this region of the world he didn't look Japanese at all. When most people saw him they normally assumed he was American due to his blue eyes and brightly colored hair. The other thing that grabbed people's attention and caused the unusual stares was the houri, since it was pretty warm during this season, along with the fact that most people simply didn't wear more traditional clothing like that nowadays. Not that the looks he received would cause him to change the style he had been wearing for most of his life. So what do I do now? He wondered as he slowly made his way back to his apartment. Do I go home and try something else or do I stay here in Tokyo and give it one more go? Hey move it! An angry woman shouted. Naruto just had time enough to turn around to spot the incredible sight of two women running at him in matching leather S&M gear. Running past, he was knocked down by the one in the violet outfit without seeming to even be noticed. Gomen. The second girl, the one in the pink leather, shouted to him from over her shoulder. She then turned to the other girl. Why did we attack a single number? We're going to get killed. I didn't know she was number 9. I just thought she was another unwinged one. Naruto watched blankly as they vanished around a corner. What was that about? He got back up to his feet. What the hell? This woman's has powers. And they are so cute. Look out. A woman screamed. He looked around but couldn't spot who was shouting at him. He then noticed a shadow falling on him and looked up. Right into a pair of white panties. Oomph. Once again Naruto found himself lying on the sidewalk. He was momentarily dazed by the impact. As he regained his senses, he realized there was a heavy weight on top of him. He also realized he was looking up into those same white panties that were only a couple inches from his nose. Excuse me. The woman who was on top of him quickly got to her feet and began looking around the now empty street. Where did those two go? She demanded. She then focused her attention on him, glaring angrily. Why didn't you get out of my way? Naruto was dumbstruck as he sat there on the cold ground looking up at her. Naruto was speechless at women. He forgot what happened with him, but he continued looking at her. Even with the anger in her face, she was easily the most beautiful woman he had ever laid eyes on. She could be a model or an actress. She had on high leather boots, black leggings that went about halfway up her thigh, a small white dress that barely went below her nether regions and revealed a lot of her ample bosom, and a long black cape that included long sleeves and a collar. She had long blonde hair draped down well past her shoulders and the clearest blue eyes. She was an absolutely stunning woman. Being captivated by her beauty, he failed to notice as her features darkened. But she was more beautiful Sakura and cute like Hinata. Hey, what the hell are you staring at, you damn monkey? She grabbed him by the collar and yanked him up off the ground with just one hand. She brought his face up close to hers. What's the big idea staring at me, huh? Have you got something to say, monkey? I'm sorry for staring, it's just that he hesitated to continue. I'm what? She growled. He swallowed. You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. In that instant, Tsukiyumi felt a flash of intense heat consume her entire body. Her heart began to pound and a momentary weakness she had never felt before struck. She let go of him and stumbled back a couple steps as though he had physically hit her. Wah! What? She clutched a hand over her chest. What is this feeling? Seeing her face turn red and begin to shake, Naruto took a step towards her. Are you all right? As he got closer, she felt the heat in her body rise. Her eyes widened and she let out a gasp as she realized what it had to be. Her body was reacting to him. That could only mean he was. You bastard, she growled and drew herself up to her full height, ignoring her body's momentary weakness. You're him, my Ashikabi, you've come here to take my body. What? In the next instant, Naruto was somehow drenched. Even though it was a clear day, a deluge hit him and only him, leaving him completely soaked. And before he could even react, she had grabbed him again by the collar and begun violently shaking him back and forth. You bastard, she shouted. I'll never let you take control of my body. I'll kill you first. Wah! What? Control your body? I would never even think to do something like that. Liar. She momentarily stopped shaking him and again brought his face towards hers. That's what all Ashikabi do. They take control of a sekirei and use them in whatever sick, perverted way they want. Wait, I don't know what an Ashikabi is, but I swear I would never treat a woman that way. I would always treat a woman with respect and kindness. In return, they betray me. I would never even think to order you to do things. Not even if you were my wife. Her heart began to race even faster and she felt a surge of excitement at hearing that. You bastard. How dare you? What? Naruto didn't understand how the hell he'd gotten in this situation. Everything he said seemed to make this woman even more angry with him. How dare you, a lowly monkey, propose to me? What? Propose? But I didn't. he was cut off. She began to shake him violently back and forth again. Shameless. 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 To just say such a thing to a helpless woman like that. Do you think I would ever agree to such a thing? But I didn't. She brought him to a sudden stop. Still holding him with one hand, Naruto saw a ball of water appear above the palm of the other as if by magic. I know what I have to do now. I'm going to have to kill you to protect myself. Kill me, he gasped. Is she serious? What the hell is going on here? Wait, I think there's been some kind of misunderstanding here. She launched the water at Naruto, dodged the water with his great speed. As far a ninja could easily do, but as per normal human can't. As Tsukuyomi eyes widened as blonde speed, but she again attacked her. Now Tsukuyomi, don't you think you're going a little overboard? Tsukuyomi looked up to see a masked figure decked in black sitting on a roof edge above her. We're not supposed to involve civilians, remember? Homura reminded her. This is different. This bastard is the one who wants to shamelessly ravish my body. Homura lifted one very interested eyebrow. Really? So you finally found your ashikabi? Congratulations. This isn't something to be happy about. He just wants to take control of me and then have his way with me whenever he wants. Kind of sounds like fun, doesn't it? He teased. Her face turned a very deep red as she sputtered, trying to answer that. Excuse me. Naruto spoke up carefully. He was still being held by an irate Tsukuyomi. I really don't understand what's going on here, but I swear I don't have any intention of taking advantage of her. She was beautiful and strong woman, but what she was looking at, good man, that was not me. Homaru raised his eyebrow. He read the expression blonde face, so he was betrayed by his lover, but I seen he was betrayed many time. But I guess Tsukuyomi is perfect one for her. Can I please just go? Absolutely not, Tsukuyomi snapped. If I do that, you'll just attack me later. And how exactly is he supposed to do that? Homura asked curiously. You could probably snap him in half with one arm. He looked over at Naruto. If she lets you go, do you promise to never try and have your way with her? Yes, I swear it. Homura sent her a questioning look. All right, fine. She at last let go of him. I had better never see you again. Drenched and shaken, he stumbled back. Before leaving, though, he gave her a very deep bow. Even though I don't know what happened, if I did anything to offend you, I sincerely apologize for it. He walked away. She is really good for you. Kid, shut up, Kyubi. Do you think I can trust her after what I trust Sakura and Hinata done to me? I won't let happened again me. Homura noted the way Tsukuyomi's eyes never left him as he fled. Even after he was gone from sight, she remained rooted to the spot, staring in the direction he had left. You know, Homura said casually. I don't blame you for not wanting anything to do with him. I mean, that guy is pretty homely. What? She snapped angrily. He is not. He is very handsome. Homura didn't say another word. He just looked at her as she slowly blushed again. Idiot, she shouted and leapt away. Whether she was referring to her rival or herself, she didn't know. It has been 2 weeks. After betraying by Sakura and Hinata, it was very worst for his health. Naruto's will of fire is scattered because of them. He does not get nice sleep, while the nightmare always came in his mind. He should not go through to the force to love with someone, but he knew the true love would never felt. Why is always happened with me? I only want to love women, he said silently. He never easily forgotten the betrayal so easily. This betrayal has affected his mind so badly that impossible to forget that memories. Naruto has tried to forget about them, but this incident is not forgot so easily for him. Kit, are you alright? You were not look very well. You didn't forgotten them, did you? Naruto growled at him. Fox, please shut up. I don't want to face you right now. Naruto said, but he calmed down. Fox, I'm sorry about that. Would please leave me alone. Kit, I know it, but I'm sorry this all things happened because of me. Naruto smiled. He really care his container, but why don't you move for someone who care for deeply in you? Naruto smiled and sighed. First Fox, I don't think this was your fault, it was Madara. And Fox, I promise you I gave you freedom. And you second option, then what happened? If she would know about you, she will betray me as same as Hinata did with me. And other thing, I can't trust any girl who used my love and again betray me just same as Sakura. Will you really give me your freedom? But you knew if I free then, Naruto interrupt him, then what, I died but I don't mind. Let's quite the subject, Naruto said, and he moved forward. It's been 2 weeks that Suand hasn't contact with him. As far to earn money, he got the work near the construction area. All right, you can knock off now. Naruto nodded appreciatively to the foreman and headed to the tool shed to turn in his shovel. It had been a week since he'd betrayal by love. So he decided to try to forget about them and tried focus his work. After he got to mission that stay away from Konoha, but he didn't have enough money to spend his way in Tokyo. That meant if he wanted to make ends meet even in his meager lifestyle, he would have to find some work. For a change, he'd actually had some good luck and found this construction job that he could work part-time around his ninja training. The job was temporary, but good enough for the next few months. Hey, see you later, kid, a coworker called, and with a friendly wave. See you tomorrow, Seo-san, Naruto called back. Seo was an older and more laid-back person. Naruto liked him largely because, unlike himself, Seo never seemed too worried about anything. With work over, Naruto headed for the nearest metro station to head back to his apartment. As he did so, he already knew that the blonde-hair woman on watch. He sighed. He didn't want to respond her. He already decided himself not talk any women if he got any necessary. From a nearby rooftop, Tsukiyumi saw him leaving his work. She had been following him all day from the time he left his apartment this morning. She had trailed him as he went to the cram school this morning and then hurried off to a few hours of manual labor. I wonder if he'll be working again tomorrow, she thought. I like seeing him work up a sweat. Just what are you up to? A voice whispered in her ear. Yeah. She jumped and turned about. A fully formed water blade extended out of her right hand. Homura had leapt back just in time to avoid it. Touchy, he noted. Homura, have you come here to have a match? She demanded. Nothing like that, he said, putting his hands up. Though you should be a little more careful. If I were wanting to fight, I could have shoved you off the roof without you even noticing. What's going on with you? You're not usually so oblivious. Nothing's going on, she said a bit too defensively. Oh really? He said and sauntered over to the roof's edge to peer down. Hey, is that your Ashikabi down there? What if it is? She demanded and crossed her arms. Have you talked to him? Of course not. Why on earth would I want to talk to a monkey like him? Well then, why are you following him? Because I want to make sure he's no threat to me. Homaru stared at her. Don't misjudge him, Tsukiyumi, he not like average man like other. Homaru watched back down to Naruto, he is different. What do you mean? You know, you tried to attack him and he dodged every water bullet. Homaru looked back to water sekirei. Such humans don't have possess type of speed to dodge your attack. He suffer pain that shone his face. Well, like it's betrayal by love more than one person, she shocked at his words. After you following him, you didn't notice his sad face and not like talk to anybody free open mind. This happened only when if your love betraying you, she couldn't help but understand his words. She noticed his saddened face. Tsukiyumi inwardly hurt whenever he seen his saddened face. I see you not understand, Homura deadpanned. Well, maybe I should go down there and have a word with him, find out what his intentions are. He made as if to leap down. He was not surprised when she grabbed his arm. Don't you dare. Oh, and why not? You might scare him off. Would that be a bad thing? You don't want anything to do with him, right? I mean, he's just a worthless monkey. Hey, Tsukiyumi shouted furiously. Don't call him that. Didn't you just call him that a minute ago? She grumbled a bit but didn't actually have an answer. You should stop wasting time and just make him your Ashikabi already. Never. I'll never let anyone take control of me. If you think it's so wonderful, why haven't you gotten winged yet? He shrugged. I've been looking. I've met plenty of women and even kissed a number of them. But so far no luck. He looked away unhappily. It's possible given the unusual nature of my body there may not be anyone who can be my ashikabi. Why? Why do you want it? Tsukiyumi asked. This was an old disagreement between them, but she had never really asked him his reasons before. Why would you let someone else control you? Well, that's the thing, he replied. I don't believe I would be. I don't think a sekirei becomes a puppet just by being winged. Rather, I think the relationship is really like a marriage, there'll be give and take and maybe one person will be more dominant. But the conditions of the relationship will be worked out by the two. I believe when the bond between ashikabi and sekirei is made that they enter each other's hearts and can develop a closeness unlike any other relationship. That's the reason I want to find my ashikabi, not to become more powerful, but to find someone I can be that intimate and trusting with. I want someone who will enter my heart while I enter theirs. Tsukiyumi listened silently. Well, that's what I think anyway. I'll see you later. After he left, she remained there on that rooftop silently pondering her rival's words and her own strange feelings. But she will continue follow him. Naruto was entered to park. He sees that many children was playing small games. He reminds that his childhood not very good. He played only Shikamaru and Chugi was nice with was walking straight path. He was look arounds, well, almost. There was one woman sitting on the park bench, what Naruto thought was an old shop he had gone to as a child. One look at her and he saw only one thing. Haku. The image shifted though and Naruto once more began seeing and thinking clearly. This was not Haku as Naruto had thought before. In fact, there were barely any similarities to them at a physical level. There was something about this young woman though. She had short, light brown hair, and wore a dreamy, yet equally sad expression on her face. She seemed to not have on much more than a blood-stained lab coat. But her oddest feature was the red mark on her forehead. Hey, what are you doing out here dressed like that for? He asked. She merely moved her gaze to him, but for a second, Naruto thought he saw the release of the barest gasp. Ashikabi, she whispered, making Naruto raise his brow. That blonde woman is also called that word ashikabi. Ashikabi. Is that your name? My name is Naruto, he said. The girl still looked depressed, but at least he had gotten her interest. My name? Naruto looked at her while she was speaking. My name, she continued, is Akatsu. Akatsu. That's a cool name. Now though, why are you out here dressed like that? Are you trying to get sick? He asked, but received no answer. Come on, you can't just ignore me, he said. It's impolite. Naruto watched, astounded as she seemed to think about what he said and found herself agreeing. But she too had a question. Why are you talking to me? She asked. Why should I not be? He asked back. I just think you're interesting. You remind me of someone I once knew. An old friend. But I am not your friend, replied Akatsu. I am merely a tool without a purpose, a weapon without a wielder. I am useless. Naruto's eyes softened. Now Akatsu was definitely beginning to sound like Haku. I have no home, she said in a voice that was so broken. Because I am broken. I'm a failure. Naruto looked at her though that he was his past childhood. Naruto sit besides women and said, why you think such that way, I don't think you are weak. Women jerk up and look at Naruto, you don't know what happened to me in my life and if you tried to wing me then you waste your time, Akatsu said in cold tone. Wing her what the hell she talk about? Naruto looked at her eyes hurt and pain, so tell me what happened to you and why you think you are broken sekirei, Naruto said. Women came again depressed mode. My name is Akatsu. I am an alien and I live on a spaceship. The ship isn't in space though, it crashed here on Earth hundreds or thousands of years ago. Physically I look like a 12-year-old but I may be older than recorded human history. Most of my existence was spent in suspended animation. The ship crashed into the ocean and remained there for an untold number of years until the island of Kamakura rose up out of the sea. It was then discovered by our current owner, Hiroto Manaka. Naruto finally founded that how the sekirei this things were born, and Akastu continued his story. I've met him a few times. A very strange and excitable man. He has boundless energy and even more boundless imagination. I don't think Takehito likes him very much. Manaka is the one who gave my race the name, sekirei. It's not our real name, of course, but since no one knows what we're really called, it's as good a name as any other. Somewhere out in space is the world my people come from. The world where this ship was constructed and launched from, and from which my parents conceived me. But where among all stars this world might be, the reason why they sent a spaceship with 108 life forms to Earth, or whether or not my race even still exists out there, none of this is known. I don't suppose any of it really matters. Wherever it was I and this ship came from, Earth is the only world I will ever know. I only hope that someday I get to know more of it than just this barren rock. When I was 15, I finally left Kamakura Island. They put me on a MBI helicopter and flew me all the way to Tokyo. In MBI Tower I was given a luxurious apartment with a view overlooking the whole city. But I wasn't allowed to leave the building. Small flashback with Akastu. Will I have an ashikabi someday? An ashikabi? Takehito looks uncomfortable. I have a sekirei crest on my forehead. I was winged through an injection that contained various strands of DNA. I am a winged sekirei without an ashikabi. Thanks to my experience, Takehito says he will be able to perfect the winging system for the others. When the sekirei plan goes into effect, each of them will be able to make a special connection to one particular human, their ashikabi. But what about me? I want to know if I can have an ashikabi, Akastu say. I'm sorry, Takehito answers. Each sekirei can be winged only once. So no, I'm afraid you won't be able to. Hearing him confirm that makes me very unhappy. It's just one more thing that has been taken from me. I see. I answer him like always, revealing nothing of what I feel. Takehito looks very sad. Flashback end. I taken into lab to make experiment on me, and that they founded that each sekirei can be winged only once. But he said the tears came down from Akastu's eyes, and carefully listen Akastu next words. From behind the benches, in the bushes, Tsukuimi listening all the conversation with him and discard sekirei. She was angry his future ashikabi was sitting with another woman and other things. She was sad about Akastu, about his life story. I never found my ashikabi, Akastu shouted, single tear coming from her eye. Naruto froze at her speech. He clenched his fist. Ragged came his mind when he heard Akastu's story. I don't care about the any power in this stupid sekirei plan. All I want is an ashikabi who cares about me. Akastu cried. Naruto's eyes was widened what he heard. This broken sekireis just want ashikabi who care herself. He about reminds his own situation. He tried to work hard that the people recognized him after the pains fight. People finally able to understand him. Naruto smiled. He put her hands over her shoulder that made women look at him. You know you're not only one getting love. Akastu turned Naruto whose sad smile showing her. What do you mean? Naruto turned to her and sighed. Because I'm suffering same fate as you were suffer. Without any hesitation Naruto tell Akastu his story about how Sakura and Hinata using his love and betray him. Akastu and Tsukuimi eyes widened as they heard his story. While Tsukumi heard this story, she inner rage were raised in tenfold. Now I get it why he's so sad all the time. Tsukumi looked at blonde guy and tried to speak with, but she stopped. Hey, you're 2 steps away from the sekirei, she will be mine. Came a voice that Naruto knew belonged to a spoiled rich brat. When Naruto and Akatsu turned to the source, they saw a boy surrounded 2 people who Naruto guessed were other sekirei. What do you mean by she is yours, brat? Naruto stand up, his eyes turned into red because his behavior and tone is remind him his first betrayal girl Sakura Hanuro, who always claimed for Sasuke as this. And Sasuke is that. After I heard Akastu words, I think last time I checked sekirei get to choose who their ashikabi is, and you are not supposed to force them to awaken. Naruto exclaimed, getting the broken sekirei and water sekirei to look at him in admiration. Oh really, well, sorry to tell you this, but when I want something I take it and crushed all who stands in my way. I am Hayato Mikogami, also known as the Ashikabi of the South, the boy said as he stepped into the light since it became pitch black. Mikogami is a 15-year-old boy with a slim frame and is of average height. He has brown hair and is wearing a white formal suit usually worn by wealthy people of this time. Kyubi, this guy is really piss me off. Naruto gritted his teeth in anger. This guy's is remind me that pink hair bitch and his lover Sasuke Uchiha. What have you waiting for? You kick his, but don't try to kill him. We don't want trouble, you know. Naruto frowned. Okay, I get it. Hayato-sama, is this guy bother you? Can I kill him? The male sekirei holding a sword that stood next to Mikogami said. What, are you serious, Mutsu? But he is just a human, why do you wasting your time on him? Get the sekirei and bring her with us, Mikogami asked. We can collected her as our collection. Hayato was carefree person because Mutsu, who was one of the original 5. You blonde kid, it better to stay away from our business, otherwise do not underestimate me. I am sekirei number 5 Mutsu and I shall force you to kill you, the former disciplined squad member says. Seriously Mutsu, I will take on that little wench, this hottie, said the female sekirei who came with the South's Ashikabi and also carried a scythe. Hi there, I'm number 43 Yomi, the girl said as she leered at Akastu with a perverted look in her eyes. She doesn't wing because she discard sekirei, but she useful for my collection, and kid, why do you wasting you time on her? Mikogami exclaimed in an excited voice. Akastu fallen his face and Naruto didn't know why, but he angry his words. He clenched his fist and ready to fight to sekirei. Hey girl, would you like to being my sekirei? If you want I can be your Ashikabi and give you stay nice place to stay. Broken sekirei in his eyes look hopes that she would have get his Ashikabi, but before she answer it would cut by Naruto. Akastu, don't take his offer. He will use you as a tool for certain time. Naruto turned to Akastu and gave her smile. And you told me as you want be Ashikabi, who care about, then how can you accept his offer? It will nothing to see you as a tool. He grabbed her cheek, his left hand. Akastu look at blonde blue eyes, and you're not broken tool Akastu. I 100% sure a nice guy want a beautiful woman like you. Naruto gave her fox grinned. Akastu eyes widened and blushed appeared her face. At first time someone told her nice words besides Takehito. Sukumi smile at blonde guy was nice talkative, but it was seen blonde Ashikabi were in danger, but she suddenly felt the surrounding air turned into boil. What the happening here? Mutsu ran past Naruto and made to grab Akastu only to get slapped back by a powerful blow that came out of nowhere. Mikogami and Yomi both gasped at what had happened while the broken number and water sekirei eyes widened in disbelief. Naruto, who now stood in front of Akastu, looked deep into her eyes, showing her his determination to protect and what he intended to do with her if she wanted. I won't let you hand over her. Naruto reminded the Sakura and Hinata that made getting more angry. I protect her from you filthy bastards. Naruto look at Mutsu, his ragged has came up, lost his temper, he activates Sage mode plus QB ragged mode. Addition Naruto take out the long katana who is mother sing nature. Hayato eyes widened at how did he summon the katana nowhere. Mutsu stand up rubbed his cheek. So you wanna fight me huh? He take out his katana and ready for the fight. Mutsu dropped his stance slightly and held his hands to his sides. Naruto unsheathed his blade and held it at the ready. Again Yomi enter both them battle, took a deep breath and closed her eyes. He channeled power into his fingers, tapped the in her weapon. Wind instantaneously appeared in his hands and he snapped, his eyes opened revealing his fully matured power flowing in her eyes. She flung them at the blonde across from him. Naruto just looked impassively at the rain of steel coming towards him. His enhanced instincts kicked in and he began to block the incoming Death Stars. Yomi was sending an insane amount of wind slashes his way and he knocked her wind with his own wind shuriken. Hayato, water sekirei and broken sekirei eyes widened at their fights. You two are fight very well, Naruto compliment. but I won't let you hand on Akastu for being your tools. Akastu raised her eyebrow. She felt the different feeling coming inside her heart. He defend me, but why? Akastu blinked. She reminds Naruto words what he told. Because we're suffering same fate. Akastu turned to blonde. Naruto-kun, please be safe, she murmured. Shut up and fight, Mutsu yelled. Naruto was busy swatting away the harmless wind air slash when he noticed something different about them. Mutsu katana were glowing blue aura and sparked wildly when they made contact with his sword. He quickly deduced that Mutsu was using sekirei power and charged his own sword with wind chakra. Yomi now, Mutsu yelled. Naruto blinked, turned to Yomi. Yomi saw that he wasn't making any ground, so she quickly flipped through in her weapon. Take this wind slash. She called as she shot a burst of wind slash from her blade. Naruto had just blocked wind slash hurtling towards him. She pumped even more wind chakra into his sword and delivered a vertical slice straight down the middle, easily splitting it in half. He swung the blade, same wind slash appeared and thrown toward the Yomi. Yomi eyes widened, she barely dodged the attack. Yomi, don't fight, I can handle this fight. Mutsu smirked at having caught the blonde off guard, but it quickly disappeared when he realized he had been blocked. Mutsu quickly swung his free hand toward Naruto's face only for it to be grabbed by the blonde's open palm. The two stood there pressing against one another, blade against blade, fist against hand, trying to overpower each other. Mutsu's expressionless face met with Naruto's disinterested look. Mutsu felt Naruto gaining the upper hand, so cutting his losses, he pushed off and back-flipped away. Naruto had always been the stronger of the two while Mutsu was the fastest. Naruto took this time to twirl his sword in his hand into his familiar unorthodox reverse grip and entered his battle stance. Mutsu noticed the change in stance and readjusted himself into his usual kenjutsu stance. After a silent moment, the two rushed at each other, meeting head to head in a fierce sword battle. This guy is sekirei or not? How can he stronger and faster as same level as O1 or those? I never, though I fight him so longer. Naruto and Mutsu clashed as they met in the middle. Naruto swung low at Mutsu's ankles only for the sekirei to leap up and send a downward slash his way. Naruto sidestepped the strike and swung his sword arm around in an attempt to decapitate his friend. Mutsu ducked at the last second and tried to split his rival in half with a sideswipe to the stomach. Naruto parried his strike, and in the split second that the sekirei was off guard, he delivered a roundhouse kick to Mutsu's chest that sent him flying. Mutsu recovered in midair and grimaced as he skidded to a stop. The blonde's strength was ridiculous. He didn't have much time to rest as Naruto was immediately in his face again, trying to knock his head off his shoulders with a spinning axe kick. Mutsu avoided the kick but barely had time to register the silver blade flying at his neck right afterwards. Mutsu parried the blade mere inches before it struck his jugular. He pushed off Mutsu's sword and began his counterattack. They swiped at each other repeatedly but were at a stalemate. Every swing was either blocked, parried, or dodged completely. The rhythmic sound of clanging metal echoed throughout the room. With their swordsmanship being on the same level, they were going nowhere fast. Mutsu parried another of Naruto's strikes, but instead of retaliating with his own, Mutsu glanced at Akastu, who disappeared. That mean he has no way to fight. He sighed. He put down his katana. Sorry, but I stopped this fight for now. Naruto, Hayato and Yomi blinked at his question. What happened to you, Mutsu? Why didn't you kill him? Sorry, but our target was ran away. It was waste of our time to fight. Hayato looked back where the Akastu was disappeared. Naruto smiled as Akastu ran away. Hey guy. Naruto turned back to Mutsu. Your sword skill, strength, defense is really impressive. I like the sekirei like you. In the future you got you ashikabi, then it would fun we fight in the battlefield. So goodbye, Mutsu said as he appeared by Mikogami, lifting him up onto his shoulders, who was shaking in fear. Come Yomi, we are leaving, he said as he leapt away. Hearing this made Yomi angry as she was in a state of denial about the power output. Well, I will let you go this time, but the next time we meet I will kill you and the bastard ashikabi of yours, but you're a really hot sekirei I ever got, so bye, the scythe wielder exclaimed as she leapt after Mutsu and her ashikabi. Naruto jaw opened, he though I'm sekirei. And he like me. What the hell problem in that man is he is gay, he heard the Kyuubi were laughing at him. Shut up fox. I never though I found out fan who is guy. Sorry kit. But that ridiculous thaws. Ha 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 ha, Kyuubi laughed. But that doesn't matter, how do you feel now? I felt really better in that fight. I saved someone love and I really happy about that. Kyuubi smiled, but he knew that he never find his own happiness. That why he inwardly sad. Let's go HL. Naruto had just taken a warm bath and was dressed in his pajamas. He was about to make some instant ramen for dinner and going to sleep on his futon. The tiny two-bedroom apartment was a mess with books and old work papers lying around. Not that it matters, I suppose. It's not likely I'll be inviting any girls here anytime soon. Well, anyway, I'll probably never meet a girl like that again. I wonder if that's a good thing or bad thing. Despite getting shaken half to death, there was just something about that girl Akastu and the angry water women he couldn't get out of his mind. But he would not have gut to confess his love after all what he get betrayal. It wasn't just both of them was beautiful and sexy, then Sakura and Hinata, he had this really weird sense that there was some kind of connection between them. Well, kid, finally thinking about that water and broken sekirei who called herself Akastu. Huh, Naruto couldn't help but smiled, he thinking about the girls after he fight with Mutsu and first meeting with water sekirei, they never gone on his thaws. Guess you are right, fox, but what can I do? Both of them are really beautiful, then Sakura and Hinata. I bet no one woman can stand in front of them. Suddenly he felt Kyuubi growled at him. Huh, fox, what happened to you? Kyuubi has gave him angry glare. Never mind. Why don't you confess them? Naruto silent, he didn't answer his question. Kyuubi sighed, he knew what his answer. I don't know what I do to confess them or not, but if they accept me, I would be really happy. But I can't propose both of them. It would betray one of them, and that the reason I can't confess. But what if something happened good and both of them accepted and share you? Then I would be most pleasure to Kami to gave me godless like them. There was a loud knock on his door. Coming, he called out. That had to be his landlord. He was the only one who ever came to see him and had got into this annoying habit of checking up on him at random intervals. What can I do for you, landlord? He asked as he opened the door. He froze when he saw it wasn't his landlord after all. As if being summoned here by his thoughts, the strange blonde and broken sekirei, she wearing the normal clothes, were standing there looking back at him. Well, she asked impatiently, are you going to invite us in or not? He blinked at her. For a second he wondered if he might have fallen asleep during the bath and was having a dream. Please come in. With a curt nod she strode into his small apartment. She halted in the middle of the room and stared at the mess that seemed to be everywhere. This place is a pigsty, she declared loudly. No, a pig would be disgusted by this. Ah, gomen kudasai, he said as she shut the door and desperately began picking up some of the things on the floor. I wasn't expecting company. What is she doing here? Why is she acting like this is normal? Who is she? Akastu came and hugged Naruto that he was alright. Naruto broke the hug and glad that Akastu was alright. Akastu, I glad you're alright, Naruto said. Naruto couldn't help but feel very comfortable around her. He didn't know why, but she glanced at the kitchenette that was a part of the room and saw a styrofoam cup of instant ramen. She pointed to it angrily. Is that supposed to be dinner? Don't you know if you don't have a proper nutritious meal your health will suffer? He stopped picking things up and just looked at her curiously. What? She snapped. Being this close to him, her body was heating up and her heart was fluttering in her chest. And the way he was staring at her was making her feel self-conscious. I'm very sorry, but who are you? As well I know about Akastu, I met her in park. But I didn't recognize you. She stared at him a moment. Her mouth thinned a bit and for the very first time Naruto saw an expression on her face other than anger. That's right. We've never actually introduced ourselves, have we? She sounded slightly amused. She stood straight and jerked a thumb towards her chest. I am Tsukiyomi, sekirei number 9, the water sekirei. I'm Akastu sekirei number 7, the ice sekirei. She introduced. Naruto nodded politely. I am very pleased to meet you Tsukiyomi-san, Akastu-san. I am Uzumaki Naruto. Both of them nodded. And a part-time construction worker. He stared at her. How do you know about that? I have been following you for the past week. What? He said, shocked as about he know that someone follow her. But he didn't notice she was follow her. While Akastu glared at her. She frowned at him. Well, what would you expect? After your proposal I had to find out about you, didn't I? What proposal? He saw her go from calm to furious in 1.2 seconds. She grabbed him by the top of his pajamas and brought his face within a couple inches of hers. Hey, don't you dare try and take it back. You said you would never order me around, even if I was your wife. You said that, didn't you? Yes, but how is that a proposal? She flattened her eyes dangerously. It was a promise of how you would treat me as a wife, which is the same thing as a proposal. It is. He wondered. He didn't dare say that though. He definitely thought those words in this situation would lead to his immediate death. I would love to be married to a woman like you. And what do you intend to stay the memories on you past girlfriend who gave on you and play with your kindness and throw you like a shit? Grow up, man. If you want a happy life, then you can't stay with your past, you must move on. I don't want to see your damn sad face. You knew will it hurt me as I see my man who I love my whole heart. Naruto saw her eyes suddenly widen and her cheeks turn a deep red. She let go of him and turned her eyes down. Akastu came his side, place his hands over his cheek. Naruto-kun, we both suffered same fate. As I was little happy that first time someone approached me and stand my side tried to protect me. And that why I fall in love with you, Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto eyes again widened at Akastu's speech. He glanced at both of them. Naruto-kun, I asked you one thing, why didn't you choose Akastu? You would have advantage on you can used her any time. That why I won't accept her. Both Akastu and Tsukumi blinked at him. Akastu is really beautiful and powerful women are sekirei. She has nice body that anyone can attract her. But after my previous love I was being betrayed by two girls, they were same. But I'm not that type of guy who use the girl and throw it. And if I did, what is the difference between me and that Hayato guy? Akastu, I can gave you all my blessing and love, but I afraid that you would be bore on me and gone with other guy and you were left me just like them. I never do that, Akastu shouted at full of his lungs. Naruto and Tsukumi shocked at they felt the room temperature was brought down several degrees. She grabbed his shoulder. I never do that, Naruto-kun. I want your love. You and I suffer same fate. In fact we sekirei never left our love. Tsukumi came up, slapped him again. I told you, it's your life and if you want to happy then you had to move. That girls can't control your life. Naruto eye widened. She was right, if he want to happy he had to move on. She is right, I can't depend on those girls. I'm really stupid. Thank you girls, Naruto said. If I could I would make both of you mine and never let you go. She seemed to have calmed down now. With any luck he could talk to her without being shaken again and find out just what was going on here. I would make you mine and never let you go. Those words filled her and Akastu's heart with a sudden immense joy. They made her knees weak and made her heart thrum near to bursting. It's strange, she said and looked into his face. Her own face was calm and accepting. What is? Naruto and Akastu blinked. Up until now my heart has always been filled with rage at the idea of accepting an ashikabi. But now, it's at peace. Her sea-deep eyes were staring into his. She placed both hands gently on his cheeks. I think I must have been looking for you all this time. From now on Naruto, I am the only one allowed to hurt or kill you. Wah, what do you mean? He could feel his own heart racing. Her touch and the way she was looking at him had him starting to shake. She slowly leaned in. I accept your proposal, she whispered. And touched her lips to his, sealing their contract. Her body was consumed by fire hotter than Homura could ever hope to create. There was a light filling the room as the image of wings appeared and a crest came into being between her shoulders. All her strength seemed to leave her and she leaned against him. She felt his arms take firm hold of her. The way he held her, she was sure he would protect her from anything. It felt wonderful to be in those arms. For Naruto, the kiss had caught him wholly by surprise. He inwardly felt his mind and power flow smoothly like water. His mind would be healed by Tsukumi water ability, it will felt her very strong. Her lips were soft and sweet, and this case was well worth all the shaking and threats of death. He didn't understand the meaning of the strange light or the wings though. When the kiss ended, she placed her head against his neck and sighed contentedly. Tsukiyumi-san, what just happened? Just call me Tsukiyumi, she told him. You have become my Ashikabi. This is a union between us that shall last now and forever. He really didn't understand what she was talking about. Ashikabi. Now and forever. Naruto smiled. He looked back to Akastu and stand in front of her. Akastu, I know that you broken sekirei and no one would wing you, but his index finger touched her sekirei forehead mark, channel the chakra. Suddenly Akastu forehead sekirei mark disappeared and reappeared behind her back. Akastu, I fix the problem, Akastu-chan. You could find your Ashikabi as you want, Naruto said with smile. Naruto, she whispered, barely allowing him to hear. I don't want other Ashikabi, I want you, the Ashikabi who care about me, and I found my Ashikabi. Naruto couldn't stop the usually stoic, almost drowsy girl from her sudden burst of power as she pulled his head to hers and their lips made contact in the form of a kiss. It was only a fraction of a second, but when they pulled away, Naruto was shocked. Behind her, a bright light glowed, flashing and forming a large, odd pale blue pair of wings, which then rearranged into several smaller pairs of wings in the same color. In a moment, they had faded away, leaving nothing to show they had been there. She smiled. She had such a beautiful smile. You may kiss me as much as you like. Meet Naruto-kun, Akastu said. With her blessing, he tentatively leaned in and pressed his lips to hers. Kissing her and holding her close felt amazing. Naruto has felt realization between Akastu and Tsukumi. If this really was some sort of dream, he hoped he never woke up. As he did the same thing to Akastu. Kyubi, I think I gave a chance to them. I don't know what happened to me. When I kissed them I felt very nice. I really, though, Kami-sama is really blessing on me. He gifted me beautiful women that no one could match them. Again Kyubi growled at his statement. Naruto confused what happened to him. This perfect world lasted for a few precious minutes before it was disturbed by a loud knocking on his door. Naruto, do you have a woman in there? You had better not, or it's a violation of your lease. Oh no, Naruto wailed. It's my landlord. How rude, Tsukiyumi said irritably. How dare he disturb us at such a moment? She stormed over to the door. Tsukiyumi-san, what are you? She threw open the door to find a middle-aged balding man with a pouch. Why the hell are you disturbing us at a time like this? She shouted into his face. The man was obviously caught by surprise and took a couple steps down the stairs. Who are you, bitch? The man gasped out. I am Tsukiyumi, Naruto's wife. Now get out of here and don't disturb us again. Naruto appeared beside her. Naruto-san, I told you no women allow in this house. If you want to live, you've kicked this woman out of my house, the landlord glacé at Akastu, who's standing besides Naruto. Oh, another woman. Landlord, I know I broke the contract, but doesn't mean you can talk bad about my wife's. Landlord gasped, took a step back from the blonde guys, and ice sekirei blinked. They felt demonic aura coming through Naruto bodies. Be out of here in 1 week. The man hurried back down the stairs. Understood. Naruto turned, see that Tsukumi and Akastu stared at him. Girls, I know who have lot of question in your mind. You mentioned me and Akastu were your wife, Tsukumi asked. Well, yeah, Naruto grinned, rubbed his back, but truly girls, if you truly want to stay with me, I've to tell you the truth why my previous girls betray me. Sukumi and Akastu confused at Blonde's statement. Naruto told them everything about him, his friends, his teams, his past 16 years, shinobi appearance, and one of the important truth is Kyuubi. Naruto has seen Sukumi and Akastu's stunned faces. He sighed, he knew that they would react the same way as Konoha people's lives. So, that why I can't being with you and Akastu. Because I'm demon and you're choose me, it's nothing but a mistake. You would be regretting that you can wing the demon like me. But before he complete his statement, Sukumi has force slapped the blonde over the face. Then Akastu came in front of him, slapped blonde right cheek. How could be though this thing in your mind, Uzumaki Naruto? She was grabbed his collar and push him near the wall. If you demon or whatever you're my husband and I still love you, she kiss him full passionately. Naruto eyes widened at he seen the blue wings appeared behind her back. Sukumi broke the kiss, then she let him go. Akastu stand in front of him. Naruto-kun, she place her hands over his cheek. Naruto-kun, if you demon or not I will follow you and love you end of my life and don't ever though it would mistake we choose our ashikabi. Akastu kiss him. Naruto couldn't believe his own eyes, tears flow out from his eyes. Water and ice sekirei shocked his ashikabi were crying. Naruto-kun, I never mean to hurt you. Please forgive me, Akastu cried. She don't want to lose his ashikabi. Naruto-kun, I really sorry, please forgive, but both of them shocking. Naruto wrapped his arms around them, put them into closer. He didn't know why but his heart tell him trust those women. Thank you for accepting me, both sekirei couldn't help but hugged him. I promised myself I won't protect my ashikabi from that damn Konoha village. Sukumi thus, how could they treat him, especially that two bitches? If I seen I would kill them. This time I will never leave my ashikabi side, Akastu made promise. I wish that those girl would suffer same pain what my ashikabi suffer, both sekirei wish at same time. What about it? Naruto asked when Tsukiyomi was stared at with small smile on his lips. While Akastu were taken napped over his bedsheet. Didn't you mention your landlord about us, that were your wife, she said. Naruto grinned and rubbed his back, I really don't what happened to me. It long time since someone really felt very nice about me. But when landlord said something bad about you too, I can't hold myself. I still don't know what an ashikabi is, and as for being my wife, doesn't that require a wedding? A normal man and woman might need one, but the bonding between an ashikabi and sekirei is far more sacred and meaningful than any ordinary wedding ceremony could be. In every way that matters I am now your wife and you are now my husband. He wasn't sure if he should laugh or cry. She really seemed to believe it too. As he tried to contemplate an answer that would not get him throttled, the 19-inch TV in his apartment suddenly switched on. The image of a man in a white suit with shades and wild white hair appeared. Congratulations on being chosen by a sekirei to join our little game person. I wish you luck in the difficult days ahead. Naruto stared at the face on his TV. Are you talking to me? Who else? The face answered with a raucous laugh. What your name? Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto introduced to him. Hello director. Tsukiyomi greeted. Ah, number 9, you have no idea how surprised I was to find out you had just been winged. Given your attitudes I had expected you to be among the very last. A woman is allowed to change her mind, she huffed. Hello director. Akastu gritted. The man face paled, he took a deep breath. Number 7, broken sekirei, what are you doing there? Well, I'm here because I winged, Akastu replied. What? How? When? This happened? The man asked. Akastu glanced at Tsukiyomi and nodded to keep the secret from his ashikabi who fix her sekirei seal. It's none of your bussines what and how this happened, Akastu said with boring tone. Excuse me, Naruto called out. But who are you, and what is going on here? What? You don't know who I am? Try reading a newspaper once in a while, Uzumaki-san. Ignorance is nothing to be proud of. He is Hiroto Manaka, chairman of MIB and the director of the Sekirei plan. Tsukiyomi told him. Wait, you're in charge of MIB, the multinational corporation that owns most of Tokyo? Correct, the man on the screen said happily. Now, as you can imagine, my time is precious, so please listen carefully to what I have to tell you. Sekirei Plan is the name of the game you are now participating in. The rules are simple. There are 108 freed sekirei. They will fight each other until there is only one left standing. That last sekirei and ashikabi shall be permitted to ascend and hold the world's fate in their hands. The man smiled a bit maniacally. Pretty cool, huh? All this fate stuff. Naruto looked at Manaka and back to Tsukiyomi and meet. Is it me, or is everyone I meet lately a little insane? Now, in addition to this, as a member of the Sekirei plan, you have a responsibility not only to participate but to keep it a secret. Should you reveal this information, I will use all the resources of MBI to punish you. Is that clear? Naruto stared at him. MBI was a multinational corporation worth hundreds of billions. It owned most of the city of Tokyo and even had its very own private army equipped with the latest technology. He didn't even want to think what it would be like to have them for an enemy. Completely clear, Uzumaki-san. Good. Well, I have things to do, so I leave you both to it. The TV screen went to black. Great, Naruto said wearily. Now not only do I have to find a new apartment, I have to deal with this. What are you worried about, Naruto-kun? As long as I am here, you have nothing to fear. Now get dressed. Hey, I am his wife too. No, you don't. I do. Both girls were continue arguing with each other. But Tsukumi turned to Naruto, who looking at him were smile over his face. What are you smiling at, huh? She said with angry tone. It's not like that, Su-chan and Akastu-chan. You look more beautiful when you're in angry. Both sekirei were blushing madly, adding her name with chan, while Naruto suddenly reminded the statement. Huh? Get dressed. Why? Tsukuyomi frowned at him. Do you seriously think I am going to spend my wedding night in this pigsty? We will go have dinner and then spend the night in a hotel suite. Wait, we're spending the night together. On their own, his eyes dropped to stare at her huge on Akastu and Tsukumi. Damn, they so huge then, Ba-chan. I would never let them away from me this time. Thank you, Kami-sama, I got the beautiful women like them that no one could beat them. Suddenly Naruto heard Kyubi inner growled. Naruto really confused what happened to him. Well, obviously, she said. Where else would a husband and wife spend it but with each other? Oh wow, she really does think that we're married. I'm sorry, but money's tight right now. I can't afford to take you out to any place fancy to eat, and I definitely can't afford a hotel room. Akastu stay silent, she didn't know about stuff. You don't need to worry about money. She produced a shiny black credit card. I have an MBI VIP card with an unlimited balance. You can have whatever you like from here on. His eyes glittered as he looked at the legendary card. I'm afraid I can't accept. And why not? She asked as well, Akastu though the same question. Take care of your own business by any means. That is what my mother taught me, and that's what I believe in. A man has to be able to take care of himself without asking for help from others. I am not others, I am your wife, she told him. A husband and wife are supposed to take care of each other, right? Well, naturally, but no buts. She cut him off sharply. As your wife, it is my responsibility to see that you lead a healthy and safe lifestyle. She pointedly looked around the room. You obviously can't do this on your own. There is nothing wrong in letting your wife help you when you need it. Now get dressed, I'm hungry and want to go eat. Naruto wound up going into his small bathroom and changing his clothes, wondering how exactly his life had gotten so completely turned around in under half an hour. Back to the village, Suand was sat in his Hokage office due to a lot of paperwork. Damn, this paperwork will give me really headache. Hokage-sama, well, can I came in, Iruka have standing over the door. Oh, Iruka-san, you came in, Tsunade said with smile. So what do you want now? Uruka-san. If there anything stupid I will kick your that no one show in time for your help. Uruka gulped. Well, it's nothing, I was just asking what kind of mission you gave to Naruto-san. Before she can start, someone interrupt him. Tsunade-sama, can I come in? Uruka and Suand raised gave the killer intel to none of other than Hanuro Sakura, but both of them tried control over anger and deep breath. Oh Sakura, come in. Sakura entered the office with another person was none of other than Sasuke Uchiha. Sakura and Sasuke, what are you doing here? Tsunade-sama, did you know where is Naruto? Suand and Uruka raised their eyebrow. Why Sakura-san, is something wrong about him? Uruka asked, while both of them control their anger for that time. Oh, it's nothing Uruka-san, but I want to talk to him, Sakura said. Sakura-san, well, why Sasuke doing here? Tsunade asked. Well, Tsunade-sama, Sasuke proposed me for marriage and I accepted it, Sakura said with smile. She was happy with that his crush finally accept her. Uruka ragged beyond gone his limits, but Suand interrupt him before he shouted, well, congrats Sasuke-san and Sakura-san, that good news, and don't worry about Naruto. He was gone out of his mission when he complete and he came in Konoha, I can deliver to him, she said with smile. Thank you, Hokage-sama. Both of them left the room. Uruka glanced Hokage, but he suddenly gulped. Dark aura surrounded her side. Suan-sama, why did you so happy after what she did with your godchild? Suan turned to Uruka. I know what I'm doing, Uruka. Well, it just as Sakura is finally out of Naruto's life and now Hinata. Suan blinked. He turned to Uruka. Uruka, tell me truth, is there any other women has playing Naruto kindness for their own selfishness? Uruka gulped, took a several step back. Suan stared, his body language, she stand up, disappeared and reappeared in front of him, grabbed his collar. Uruka, Amino, tell the truth, who are they and to whom? Suan earth to him. Uruka gulped, he promised to Naruto do not tell him because the other friends were he so cared. But at Suan ragged he broke, that many girls came to his life but the story was the same. They left him because they only dated him because they wanted to make their boyfriends jealous. Ino did it for Sai, Tenten for Neji, Hana for Yamato, Tamari for Shikamaru, and Ayame did it for Naruto. But mostly he was hurt because of Sakura and Hinata. Suan-sama. Well, this girl would be play with him, but Naruto promised me to not tell you because he still cared his friends. Uruka seen the blank on Suan face. So there is more girls who played my godson love like he was toy to them. Uruka gulped and ran away from the room. He closed the door. He heard the Suand yelled and broking the sum totally, she destroyed the Hokage office. Naruto going to kill if he found out this, Uruka though. He left the office. Back in Suan, she almost destroyed half of his office, but she calm. She took a deep breath. So you finally came here. See Uzumaki, what they playing with your little brother and you, though I'm wrong to send him on that mission, well, that not problem. What the report? Hi, I heard everything, if I could crush them but I can't. She would not, he got already too. Hokage-sama, Tsunade smiled. Your shadow clone, I know that, keep his eye on him, and gave me every report. Hi Hokage-sama, Azuki said, puffed off. Now let's some rules for Uchiha restriction, Suan said, and get back her paperwork. Damn you, this paperwork.